MrBeast's influence on different kinds of content on social media is very apparent. But there's mounting criticism of this type of content being soulless, sanitized, boring, and stale.
Do you ever worry that it's going to get too saturated? That style is I don't want to say outplayed, but too many people are doing it, it's becoming too common, and now you have to change to adapt.
Videos such as the MrBeastification of YouTube.
One thing that I'm really exhausted by is seeing these goddamn MrBeast copycats.
And Money Killed YouTube, Here's How We Fix It.
A lot of people are getting bored of today's endless cycle of content.
Aptly describes this sentiment. Regardless, MrBeast's view count and even the view count of his alleged copycats seem to counter this argument entirely.
Across everything, we're closing in on 200 million subscribers.
Jeez! So-called boring content doesn't get millions of views.
If he stays in this circle for 100 days, I'll give him $500,000.
So today, we explore if this critique holds any grounds, or if it actually comes from a community of jealous YouTubers.
Isn't YouTube dying?
Why YouTube is feeling so lackluster.
YouTube is creatively and artistically dying.
Unable to compete in today's money-centric social media landscape. Hey guys, it's Donna. So I've been hearing about MrBeast criticism for a while now. Ever since he started reaching that tippity top of that YouTuber subscriber list.
We hit 100 million subscribers!
Something would always come out. But none of them would ever gain, really, any traction. They were usually classified as nitpicky, they'd get disproven, and some were just straight up lies. However, this assessment of MrBeast content being soulless, sanitized, and boring is the only one where I really see the community saying, there's something to that. The reason for this, in my opinion, is not because of Jimmy himself, but because of the genre he inadvertently created. Jimmy has nearly perfected the art of optimizing content for YouTube and social media as a whole. And it's created what I like to call the MrBeast genre.
This is a professional bounty hunter, and if he successfully hunts me down, he gets $100,000.
Mike here is a professional bounty hunter, and he's gonna be hunting me all day.
I hired a bounty hunter to hunt me down, and my goal is to escape the state without him catching me.
I hired a professional bounty hunter to hunt me down, and if he catches me by midnight tonight, he gets $10,000.
The internet has many colorful names for this phenomena. MrBeast clones, and this video by Pinely coins the term MrBeastification. So this video isn't really commentary on Jimmy himself, but this genre that seems to be taking over social media. It's easy to see how this happened. Copying and even inspiration taken from large creators has always had a place on social media. Famous examples include Casey Neistat, Emma Chamberlain, and David Dobrik copycats. These internet stars were well known to have their style in videos copied by others. While how much you can copy before calling it plagiarism is debatable, this is commonplace once you become a successful creator. Naturally aspiring or even already established creators are incentivized to develop their content to reach the most amount of eyeballs. Because the most successful creators are doing this in some capacity, their format becomes a playbook for others to implement. And Jimmy was the new creator to copy.
And I say this about ideas, don't copy me, but they do it anyways.
Yeah.
If I did that, all these YouTubers would start trying to clone it, and then they're just gonna become mini-me's. And it's like, a lot of people, for some reason, have stopped taking inspiration and doing their own twists, and they just literally flat out copy what I do.
Amassing astronomical view counts video after video, Jimmy's formula for content creation was hard to ignore, and it became the standard for a lot of creators in this ecosystem. The influencers who took this formula and used it to improve their content saw amazing results. Here's a before and after comparison of a creator who took this formula and implemented it onto their own content.
Father and sister of Yoda, my brother's girlfriend.
This is a thief approaching me to steal my bag while I'm sleeping on the side of the road filming another video.
It almost felt like a snowball effect for the past year, maybe even 2. While this development conjures up images of MrBeast clones, other genres you'd never think of have also taken elements from MrBeast, juxtaposing it onto their videos. From podcasts.
What I'm curious about is, when did it get out of your control, if you will?
To finance videos.
There are 14 massive money mistakes that people make in their 20s that you do not want to repeat.
So, while many internet regulars don't consider these creators to be MrBeast clones, that familiar format serves as a reminder of what type of content is taking over YouTube. It would be like if every movie was shot like a Wes Anderson film, yet had a different storyline, so it's technically not copying. For the most part, everyone can agree on what a MrBeastified video is. Now, if those videos were broken down into their simplest form, aka their basic format, perhaps we can analyze why it gives viewers this empty, sanitized feeling many have claimed. Even before the MrBeast genre, critics have been adamant about classifying YouTube videos as stale, with hotly debated topics such as the platform prioritizing quantity of videos from creators rather than quality. Content being optimized for YouTube will lead to soulless and boring videos. There's no escaping that. Now, what does this mean? So, content is always optimized for that medium. It's an obvious statement, but it's imperative to understand. Think about why films are often filled with cinematic shots, while television is typically the standard talking head. Films and prospect for theatrical release are developed this way because it's meant for an audience to view on a large screen, without any distractions. So, film often prioritizes visual aspects. Television, on the other hand, prioritizes auditory aspects. The viewer is at home, maybe cooking, doing laundry, and these days looking at their phone. Thus, it is critical for television shows to convey their narrative through sound. Content creators on YouTube optimize for an audience that is likely on their phone or on their computer. They're competing for the viewer's click.
MrBeast was going to be there, so I was like, I have to go to this to see what he says. For 90 minutes, he talked about thumbnails.
Wow.
The whole presentation was 90 minutes on thumbnails.
Wow.
And he goes, I could tell you various ways in which you can build and grow your channel, but you're missing the point. He goes, we obsess. He's like, we build 20, 30, 40 thumbnails, and once we like a thumbnail, we go build the video and the idea around it.
So their title and thumbnail has to be enticing. Once the viewer actually clicks on their video, the content has to actually retain their attention. No temptation to click any other video or switch to an entirely different app. This is called retention. With that said, would films work on YouTube? Anything is possible, but I have yet to see any creator achieve this feat. So, I make YouTube videos, and I know this is going to be biased. So yeah, I feel no, there are plenty of YouTube videos that have soul. However, being exposed to this new genre, I kind of see what those critics were talking about.
I'm so sick to death of seeing these videos and videos like these videos.
There is something missing in today's YouTube. What makes the MrBeast genre different from its counterparts is that it is extremely optimized for YouTube. This is where I think the stale and soulless comments come from. Let's go over clicks first. Videos in the MrBeast genre relies heavily on spectacle. Huge charitable donations.
Oh, hey, how's it going, guys? I heard it was someone's birthday. Wait, hold on, I got something else for you. Do you guys play video games? Yes. You do? Oh, it's a shame I got this PS5. Here you go.
Impossible challenges for money.
We have 5 artists, and each one of you will have 6 hours to make a Lego piece. Whoever wins has a chance to win up to $10,000 to split with a subscriber. 5 grand goes to the subscriber you're paired up with, 5 grand goes to you.
And extreme science experiments you'd never think of.
I just created the world's largest working computer. And I'll also be surprising one of the most popular gaming creators in the world with it.
It plays on our curiosity. Is that really possible? Well, you better click to find out. Clickbait has always been a thing. The difference here is that these creators are actually following through with what they've been presented with in their thumbnails. Additionally, in contrast to past creators who would produce a big video once in a blue moon, MrBeastified creators make spectacle their typical upload. In short, the bases of these videos are following through with a really good idea and pairing it with a captivating title and thumbnail that seduces the viewer to click. Next, we have retention. YouTube creators are competing with other videos and apps that may entice the viewer to click away from their content. In order to safeguard from this, videos on YouTube are often rapidly cut. Even the standard talking head videos eliminate any pause, any breath that doesn't progress the story fast enough. Videos from the MrBeast genre take this to an extreme. Not only do we see quick cuts and image changes like their content counterparts, we see other visual elements that are designed to keep our eyes on screen. Phrases with huge lettering often blast in the lower thirds. They don't seem to be placed there as a motivation for bad audio, as these phrases can continue for 1 second, but immediately stop in that same scene.
Who said that was okay? My car almost got freaking destroyed.
We also see a lot of overly cheesy effects normally classified as terrible if seen in any other medium. And here, I know comedy is subjective, but there are also non-funny comedic moments that only seem to be inserted to keep the viewer visually engaged.
I'm tired of cutting foam. This is really slow and boring.
Perhaps this comedy is for kids? These rapid visual shifts make it difficult to click away. Once you finally process what you just saw, you're immediately introduced to another visual you have to process. Videos in the MrBeast genre also do this with sound.
Be careful, if I fall down, I'm losing the challenge.
Along with the obvious dramatic music, hosts are often loud.
Yo!
If you watch these videos very closely, many quick cuts are paired with cinematic impacts, or booms. You'll also notice accents paired with dramatic movement.
In the next 24 hours, we're gonna face all the world's biggest fears. There are thousands of fears, so if you have a fear, we probably faced it in this video. Throughout the day, the fears will get more and more extreme, but first...
The fear bug!
No! No! Let's take... Oh!
Both sound and sight have been hijacked by these videos and are constantly stimulated. A lot of the time, the conversation is pretty much left here. Everyone makes this type of content, so I am just desensitized to it and want to see something else. Also, everyone is tired of that similar looking bright thumbnail and over-exaggerated cartoonish expression from YouTubers. It's eye-catching, yeah, for sure. But personally, this is my complaint here, like, why does everyone have the same styled thumbnail? Do people get annoyed that other people are copying their thumbnail? Or is this just one of those accepted copies? Anyway, while it may be partially true that some are just apathetic to this type of content now, viewership indicated by views expresses the contrary. Views for videos based on spectacle continue to immensely surpass videos without any. This seems far from what the MrBeastification critics typically lament about. No one associates boring content with massive interest like this. Perhaps the critics are actually just suffering a case of content jealousy, masking their little green-eyed monster in faux intellectualism. After all, views are an objective measure, and they're collecting them like a college kid collects STDs. Who are we to deem what's bad or good based on our personal preferences? Clearly, people are watching, and that's that.
And if you actually look at the data on a lot of these channels, like people say, oh, it's getting stale. But like when they do something that maybe has more relationship building or maybe a vlog or slower pace, they get 1 million views. When they do like a challenge and they're like, hey guys, it's me and we're doing this, 2 million views.
I'm hallucinating here, but I feel like these days there's like nothing to watch on YouTube. I don't know, like people aren't uploading or they're taking their sweet time or something. Can you guys just like leave me some suggestions of things to watch, people to watch? For a while now, I felt a lot of YouTube to be stale, and I've always concluded it to be me growing out of YouTube. People were still clearly watching, but I just wasn't excited like everyone else. I also associated this feeling to jealousy. And I mean, I didn't really feel exactly jealous, but I attributed it to that because why else would the whole platform be excited about this type of content? Well, I'm here being like, it's alright. Then Casey Neistat and Emma Chamberlain started to upload again. And right away, I was reminded of the era of slower pacing. This may not be optimal for retention, but I like this type of content. And others do too. As I watched upload after upload, it became clear that the MrBeast genre feels empty because they are missing two components that allowed YouTube to break into the market in the first place: vulnerability and authenticity.
Ew, gross, cheesy answer, I know. But think about it like this. If all we really cared about was spectacle and being entertained, television and film would have gone parabolic. The actors with the most money, of course, have an advantage in creating the biggest spectacle. Instead, a market opened via YouTube for media that was regular people talking to their camera. There was something missing in current media we weren't getting, and it is this personability. Feels like we're watching a regular person, just like us, and not a celebrity with a whole team behind them, manufacturing the interview, how they dress, who they're seen with. YouTube emerged for a reason, and it's because the individuals who uploaded on there weren't afraid to get vulnerable and show their authentic selves. Unfortunately, the format of the MrBeast genre makes expressing this very difficult.
Creators in the MrBeast genre typically eliminate vulnerability to prioritize retention. The video opens with exactly what the viewer expects from the title. No beating around the bush.
Currently 15,000 feet in the air, and inside of this bag is $10,000.
They engage in the spectacle right away. Then, the reaction or vulnerable moment to that spectacle is kept at a minimum.
And that was just one of the people I'll be giving away thousands of dollars.
The viewer is then promptly thrown into the next segment. Sometimes, when the segment is too long, they'll even intercut that with another storyline to keep the viewer engaged.
What? We'll come back to them, but first let's get more subscribers.
This is such a stark difference from spectacle outside the MrBeast genre. This video, titled Snowboarding with the NYPD, for instance, by Casey Neistat, almost relies on vulnerability as they highlight the emotional aspect from their stunt. This video involves Neistat hopping on his snowboard during a snowstorm in New York City and cruising around the Big Apple. It opens with a news clip stating drivers will be arrested if caught driving during the storm. It then cuts to a clip of a car clearly defying the law with New York, New York by Frank Sinatra playing in the background. Neistat is revealed being towed on his snowboard by a vehicle. Even if you're not from New York, it almost gives you this prideful feeling of the New York attitude. You see it in the reaction of all the people shown on screen. The reaction seems to be built into the storyline. The plot is their emotional vulnerability and reaction to this stunt, as opposed to a MrBeastified video, where it's all about the stunt, and emotional reactions get 1 microsecond of screen time. Casey's video then brings us back full circle as they run into the NYPD at the end. But instead of being arrested like the first clip hinted at, the cops actually think what Neistat and his buddies are doing is cool, and they're just talking to them for show. It again illustrates that New Yorker pride. If this were put in the MrBeastification machine, it'd probably be just a few clips of the stunt, and then they'd immediately just jump into something else. And look, there's obviously no objective way to measure the better video, so this is my opinion. But Casey's video to me was just more memorable.
Yeah, baby!
Even if some MrBeastified videos outrank it in views, this one felt like it actually shook the internet. Many find something off about creators in the MrBeast genre, and claim it's because of their loud and dramatic demeanor.
Oh, you should bring water balloons!
In my opinion, this impression from viewers doesn't stem from those two things. It comes from their lack of authenticity. For instance, a lot of Dude Perfect's videos have an equally loud cast.
No way! Woo!
I'd even go as far to say that some of their stunts are also just as gamified as those in the MrBeast genre. These creators, however, have not received such a negative response. I think this is because their loudness is done during an appropriate time, when it makes sense, when they make a trick shot, or when they get to do something really cool. As a human, you intuitively know when this behavior is supposed to be done. Dude Perfect's intros, or when they explain something, are done at a regular tone. So when the loud behavior is done at an almost constant, as they do in MrBeastified videos, we subconsciously view it to be disingenuous. Another element that adds to this disingenuous perception is the content is filmed in a vlog-styled way, which we have been conditioned to identify as a format that documents a YouTuber's authentic life or thoughts. When someone places a personality that is optimized for retention, aka being loud and dramatic, in this vlog format, we get Brent Rivera. I'm joking. But there is this strange JoJo Siwa effect that happens when watching videos like this.
Today, we are breaking 100 rules in 24 hours.
We see someone in their mid-20s or so behaving erratically.
Ew! Oh, God! Let me see how it tastes first.
And no, subconsciously, people in their mid-20s don't really act like this.
Watch this!
This is a raw egg. Oh my God, it's cooking.
Holy crap!
Literally, it cooked in seconds.
But you look at the Paul brothers and see that even them, they've shifted away from this content because this behavior won't match their outside. While they are still loud and arguably obnoxious, they've evolved their content to cater to an older demographic, aging up with them, such as boxing or podcasts. Like, Jake Paul isn't doing fake marriages anymore. He's vlogging his vacation. Creators like Brent Rivera undoubtedly makes videos for kids, but because it's on a medium that is connected to authenticity, his antics are often called out. And seeing characters like him makes us feel uneasy, because we know no one is like this in real life.
You got pranked!
Put simply, creators in the MrBeast genre will suppress authenticity or any sort of personality that takes away from retention. So, videos in the MrBeast genre looks like this. Clicks and retention. That's it. And all of a sudden, the view count makes total sense. Obviously, you have your spectacle that appeals to everyone, but you also have that manufactured personality that does as well. The loud, dramatic guy. And maybe appeal is the wrong word, but it does keep everyone's attention.
Whoa, are we vlogging here? Take MrBeast's video, Surviving Antarctica for 50 hours, for example. Now this video is very general. That topic is very broad. I'm clicking on this. I want to know if he survived 50 hours in Antarctica. His personality in that video is also very general. It's attention grabbing, he's very loud. There is no target demographic for his video. And as expected, that video got a lot of views. Now, one of the camera guys from that shoot actually uploaded a video called Surviving as MrBeast's Cameraman in Antarctica. So this video has a fraction of Jimmy's views. Even though he's surviving in that environment as well, his topic about being a cameraman narrows down his audience and who he'll attract. Even though he actually shows some personality like making up a song, this personality won't appeal to everyone, narrowing his audience once again. Jimmy's video appeals to everyone, while Dan's is very niche.
Now, this strange paradox happens when you do appeal to everyone. You also appeal to no one.
Huh? It's like watching a car crash. It'll catch everyone's attention for sure. But that's it. It's a thing that catches your attention. This explains the large amount of views and the retention you see in the analytics. But you're missing that thing that makes you connect, vulnerability, and authenticity. Thus, explaining why many feel empty watching this type of content. Everyone has an idea of what a car crash looks like, but another one happens, we still have to watch.
So, appealing to everyone leads to low viewership loyalty. Consider the TikToker, and many like her, who had meet and greets and no one showed up.
Nobody came.
What is that supposed to mean?
It's
like in-person meeting?
Yes. Yeah.
With millions of followers and views, this data should have led to at least 1% of fans showing up. However, authenticity and vulnerability may be difficult to establish due to the rapidness and short-form nature of TikTok. They again catch your attention because they are the car crash. But you can't connect because the content is too fast and too short.
You make a 10-second video, people are like, that's cool, and they follow it. That's it. You're one of the 140 videos somebody watched. It's hard to really generate an audience, and I feel like a lot of people are getting very inflated by social media, and I don't really think it's like her, but you see a lot of people like, I've got 100,000 on TikTok, I got 1 million on TikTok. Doesn't really mean anything, man.
The same plot is already unfolding for creators in the MrBeast genre. One creator that comes to mind that has been infamous for copying Jimmy is Morgs. This YouTuber was hitting 10-figure views at his peak. Today, he's a sparse uploader, with recent views struggling to break 300K. Still impressive nonetheless, but nowhere near the numbers at his peak. My guess is his audience grew up.
They realized, hey, this personality is kind of fake. And normally a YouTuber like this would transition with his older audience. But it's like, what do you attach to? We don't know your personality other than you're the loud guy.
Viewer loyalty is attained through vulnerability and authenticity, but that comes with having to give up on views in the process, because not everyone is going to like your personality. Not everyone is going to like your jokes. Not everyone is going to like your opinions. But you will attract and keep the loyalty of an audience that relates to you. And I think many are going to come to realize that spectacle alone won't sustain you a regular following. And a lot of new creators who play this game or are attempting to copy this formula are going to either get in massive debt or just fail.
Now, I don't want to lean too far into the artsy-fartsy side of things. If you do have a brand that doesn't require personality, then keep doing what you're doing. You're good. I also don't want to put out there that all you need to get views is to be authentic. That's not true. We know that's not true. You do need to get clicks, and you do need to keep viewers watching your video. However, I think my point is that in today's YouTube, we highlight too much on the side of analytics and data, and even though it is important to keep that stuff in mind, current creators and emerging creators have to keep in mind what popularized YouTube in the first place. And it is this human connection. We do want to hear other people's stories.
Other MrBeast clones have a view count that is subpar, relatively speaking. This is because Jimmy himself started his channel based on being authentic. He can afford to not really show his personality on some of his videos, because he's already had a foundation of personality that his fans know. And if they don't, they can see that on a podcast.
They literally think the only thing that makes my videos good is that I just cut them quick. And they think that's why we get 100 million views a video. They don't spend months, thinking of ideas and like studying new things so you can get better inspiration, so you can come up with more original ideas. All that production time, all that money, all that effort, all the time on the front end with originality, and then we spend weeks editing it across, 7 to 10 revisions. Like, that's why the videos do well. Not because we just go cut, and I just throw money.
Creators who go for spectacle all the time are going to end up with disjointed view counts. Fans click this one thing because it's enticing, but can care less about the next thing.
I gave $10,000 to this homeless man. Yeah, but so did that guy, and that guy. Which video are we watching?
People watch Jimmy because they want to see his spin on things. MrBeast's view count is a reflection not only of spectacle, but of something data can't show: authenticity and vulnerability. Two pillars of the YouTube creator not given enough credit in today's YouTube, money-centric ecosystem.
I will give it to the MrBeast critics and say MrBeast doesn't really show this side anymore. There are videos where he does attempt to do it, but I don't know, it just doesn't hit the same. And it feels like he's trying to appeal to everyone. In my opinion, the video where he does effectively show authenticity, where I'm kind of like, hey, I like that, is the one where he tries fasting because of his Crohn's disease. There was a tiny amount of backlash, obviously, because of how it was clickbaited. But yeah, it felt like that was the one where it felt most authentic. But yeah, that's the end of the video. I will see you guys next time. Stay psyched.